Today we are going to look at the newer meaning in the very old and famous nursery rhyme Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill. Jill, Jill, is spelled as Gill in some versions. This original rhyme dates back to 18th century. It was first published in London around 1765, and as the time passed by, new stanzas were added to it. We are going to look at the first stanza of the nursery rhyme Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Jack and Jill is the pair of the boy and a girl. We find a very old proverb in vogue. Every Jack must have his Jill. Now I have a very simple question to make you think in a newer way, in a newer perspective. We normally go down to fetch the water. But this nursery rhyme says Jack and Jill went up the field, up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Was this an ordinary water from a well? Which water Jack and Jill were trying to fetch? Keep thinking. In the next slide, we'll go to the second stanza of the nursery rhyme. Let us look at the first version of the second stanza of the nursery rhyme. Jack got up and home did trot, as fast as he could caper, to old Dame Dob, who patched his knob with vinegar and brown paper. There was an old lady in the house of Jack who nursed his wound with vinegar and brown paper. Let us go to the second version of the second stanza in the next slide. The second variation of the second stanza goes like this. Up Jack got and home did trot, as fast as he could caper, went to bed to mend his head with vinegar and brown paper. This second version of the second stanza shows a different color of Jack, a self-sufficient Jack. He came home with his wound, The wound was in his head, and he himself nursed his wound with the same ingredients that are described in the first version of the stanza: vinegar and brown paper. The third stanza of the nursery rhyme was added later on. We do not have any record when it was added, but it is very interesting. Jill came in and she did grin to see his paper plaster. Mother vexed, did whip her next for causing Jack's disaster. This third stanza comes as a natural addition to the first version of the second stanza. After Jack came home, Jill also came in. She saw the paper plaster of Jack. The mother, who had already nursed Jack, was vexed. She scolded Jill for causing Jack's fall and injury. Normally, a girl is always rebuked when there is boy and a girl growing up. The same psychology seems to be in vogue as the third stanza projects. My intention is not to repeat the old nursery rhyme. Let us first look at the rhyme scheme and the poetic features of the nursery rhyme, and then we will go and look at the better and novel aspect of semantics of the nursery rhyme. The poem or the nursery rhyme under discussion follows the rhyme scheme ABCB. The rhythm of the nursery rhyme is trochaic, which means a long syllable is followed by a short syllable in the rhyme. The form of the poem is ballad. Let us now go to the semantics of the nursery rhyme. The nursery rhyme meaning is not to be taken superficially. As I have hinted earlier, what type of water did they want to bring? It is clear that they went up, so it is not an ordinary water that Jack and Jill were bringing. There are, I perceive some special spiritual overtones in this nursery rhyme. I understand that nursery rhymes are usually taught for enhancing the memory and to teach rhyme, rhythm and tune to the kindergarten going 3 plus age group children. But as I have said, we are going to look at the meaning, the broader meaning that the nursery rhyme is trying to convey to us. There are three types of Shabda Shakti. The basic one is Abhidha, the literal sense, which studies the literal sense of the word. The second is Lakshana, which interprets figurative meaning of the word. And the third and the highest power of the meaning is called Vyanjana, which interprets the suggestive sense of the word. If we use these word powers and implement it to the nursery rhyme, the Vyanjana subtly brings new meanings to the nursery rhyme. The second meaning I am trying to hint out is explained through a Sanskrit Subhashit. The second line of the Subhashit is apt for the second moral or interpretation. But first one is also important because there is a contrast between the first one and the second one, Sanskrit Subhashit. Ajara amaravat pradnyo vidya artham cha sadhayet. As if you are immortal, you have to acquire the knowledge. But when you are leading a life, gruhita yuvakesheshu mrutyuna dharmam acharet, as if the death which is inevitable in human life is holding your hair. You have to lead your life. So you have to lead your life in righteous way. The second moral of the nursery rhyme hints at this. The moral is better explained in the maxim that goes, the more you think of dying, the better you will live. If you know that your life is not permanent, and if you want to make yourself immortal, you can make it yourself immortal through good deeds. So your life will be better if you know your end is certain. Now, what are the things that are hinting at this in the nursery rhyme under discussion? There was an accident. There was a damage to the crown. The heavenly water that they were going to bring down also fell down. Jack damaged his head. He injured himself. He got his first aid and he bore the burn of application of vinegar and paper, that is the medication that is mentioned in the nursery rhyme. All these things and description proves the second moral. There is nothing that describes in the nursery rhyme that Jack was crying after falling down. The Jack was crying because of the injury that he suffered. There is no mention that the Jack thought of giving up the task and saying that I don't want to go up again and I don't want to bring the water. So he is not ready to forego the task. So this is a newer meaning to that. We must try to discover the newer meaning in the old rhymes. No teacher can confidently say that I have finished the poem, since unlimited interpretations of the poem or the rhyme are possible. So let the great literature teach us new ways of interpreting the newer meaning and interpreting the newer colors of life. I hope you have understood my point of view and you will learn to look at the newer ways, the newer introspection, the newer perspective, the dynamic way of looking the things when you see another nursery rhyme. If you like this attempt, kindly give your comments and suggest the new topic for the newer video. Thank you.